Hi and good morning. Welcome to this walk and talk. Today we are a little higher, so let me just turn around and you can see the background. There's also some sheep over there. I don't know if you can see them. Just going up the mountain. You can hear them probably. So today's topic will be, of course, an update on the markets, but also I want to talk about the new regulations, especially the CARF framework and all the other regulations that are getting implemented at the moment. So first of all, market update. We have seen Bitcoin running up to 117, 117.5, 6, something like that. And after the FOMC, the Fed meeting, we are actually doing quite well. And I told you in some videos some days ago that this is probably going to happen, as according to statistics, this most of the time happens if it's a 0.25 basis cut. So we're doing good on the markets. Risk assets or the smaller coins are also doing quite well. Coins like, the MiCA coins, Pump.fun, everything is actually doing quite well. Pump dropped a little in the night time. All the other assets are also quite stable. So not much we need to talk about. Still, my opinion is not changed. In my opinion, we will still have a very good old season, and the bull market, the real bull market, will start very, very soon with probably the end of this year. So I have to see where I can go down, because here I don't want to go down with the camera. So I will go to a different location. Over there is a little easier to go down. So nothing has changed. You should prepare. You should be prepared already since quite some time. But if you're not prepared, there's still assets, as we have discussed in my latest videos, where you can still get in and probably make loads and loads of profits. Yes, it's also possible that the cycle will be much shorter, and it's also possible that the cycle will be much longer. We don't know, right? It could extend into the next quarter. If you look at global liquidity, it's still rising up. The Fed now cutting rates. Countries like France having massive problems with their financials, so the IMF probably going to jump in, give them money. All the European Union, also the Chinese, they are printing money like crazy. So the more money, the higher risk assets normally go. We've also seen an all-time high. We almost see a new all-time high of gold and silver. Silver, I don't think it's the all-time high, but silver is also going very high. Gold has hit 3,700 and even a little more. And yeah, this should also indicate normally Bitcoin actually follows gold, as a lot of discussion is going on that basically also boomers or little older people now understanding that basically they can store their wealth in Bitcoin. Instead of buying other assets like multiple properties or any other stuff like fine art, wine and stuff like that, it is actually much more convenient and also much more clever to get into Bitcoin. So instead of owning 3 houses because of you want to store your wealth at the moment for the future, there's not much you can do, right? You can, if you have the money, then you should invest it. Otherwise, it will inflate away. So what can you do? You buy assets. You buy like a house, real estate if you have a lot of money. You buy vintage cars. You buy like fine art. You buy wine and so on. And this is just because you know that these assets normally outperform fiat money. But if you have now an asset like Bitcoin, where you can easily move into, store and securely, you don't have to have, all this hassle with renting out the property, fixing the stuff, having the property tax, having transaction tax and all the stuff. It's much easier to move into that asset. Also, if you want to move around, meaning if for some reason you need to leave your country, just want to show you, see the sheep over there? So for some reason you have to move around into another country. Real estate is not portable, right? So in German it's called Immobilie, so it's not mobile, immobile. And with Bitcoin you can move it everywhere, and you can actually take it with you in a way that actually nobody knows, right? This is a very big advantage, transporting, and also from a convenience point that there's no side cost involved in that. This leads us already to the next topic I want to discuss, which is the new regulations coming in day by day. The latest one is the CARF framework. We have talked about this in detail. If you want to have much more details on it, I have done a video just on the CARF framework, but I still want to discuss it with you because I don't think many of you are aware what it means. If you're using crypto in day-to-day life, or if you have a crypto card like crypto.com or most of the other cards, depending where they are located, but normally if they are serving to a certain location, they have to be registered. So especially in Europe now, if an exchange like crypto.com, Binance, Bybit, everybody wants to operate and send their stuff or have European customers, they need to comply to this MiCA framework and also to the CARF framework, the crypto asset, I don't know what it is for, crypto asset framework probably. So what it means is if you send any type of money, for example, to crypto.com, they will ask you any crypto. They will ask you, where is this crypto coming from? And what kind of wallet did you use to receive or to send it, basically? And you have to answer it. If they're not happy with your answer, they will block it, right? Normally, actually, they should not do this with amounts below 1,000 euros or dollars. I don't know what the currency is they're using here, but they're doing it. So even if you send 10 euros or $10 to your crypto.com wallet, you have to tell them where this money is coming from. So it's from you or for somebody else, and what wallet you used. So they're starting to collect all the information. And it is becoming like this fintech banks like this Revolut and Bankera and all these companies. It's exactly the same. Or probably also regular banks. I don't use regular banks, but meaning that if you send some assets there, they are asking a lot of questions, right? Where is it from? Why do you receive this? Can you prove that this is this? So last time I had the case where I had was not even a crypto transfer to a neobank, and they asked me, I have to show them all the crypto addresses I have. So yeah, there's ways you can get around that, but it's getting strangely more and more strict, because if you look at the general media, or also if you look at X and whatever, it should be, or it seems that everything is opening up and crypto is now welcome and everybody's embracing crypto, at least in the US. But I don't have the feeling. And also if I listen to other people, if I look at crypto influencers still getting shut down their accounts, if I look at finance companies involved in crypto still getting shut down their bank accounts by HBC and other big player banks because they're involved in crypto, it is very strange. Also, if you are a crypto company and you want to do ads on X, your account get blocked. Probably it's not getting blocked if you have all these licenses and all that stuff. But as a small company, you have a crypto product, you try to advertise it. Not the account gets blocked, but your advertising account gets blocked without any reply. Right? So they're just blocking it for whatever reason, right? So it's very strange in my eyes. So what can you do? First of all, it is very important to hold your assets in self-custody. For those of you who don't know what self-custody is, you should set up your own wallet depending on how much assets or money you have in this wallet. It should be a hardware wallet or a software wallet, meaning that if you don't have that much money, you can have it on your phone or on your computer. As soon as you have more money, you should have a hardware wallet, so like a Trezor, a Ledger, or some kind of cold card or something like that, right? To make sure that nobody can hack it, to make sure you are in control. You need urgently to withdraw all your assets from your exchanges because they will start to ask you so many questions and you're probably not able to answer their questions. This will be questions like, where is this money coming from? If you have been trading like half a year, or even longer, you know that this is almost not possible to prove how the money ended up being that amount, if you know what I mean, right? So you do a lot of trades back and forwards and nobody actually knows what is going on and you need to prove it. It's very hard to prove it. If you can't prove it, you're probably not able to withdraw it anymore. We have seen with locations that have been involved into conflicts, into international conflicts, that people out of these countries suddenly lost their accounts blocked. So it's a control mechanism where you can shut down a certain group of people and they don't have the assets anymore to transfer. If you have your own wallets, if you're in control of your own wallets, this cannot happen to you. What can happen to you is that actually you lose access to the assets, even if you hold them in your hardware wallet. Well, this may sound confusing for you, but let me explain how that works. There are not a lot of assets out there that the asset issuer cannot freeze. What I mean by that is if you're using, for example, any kind of stablecoin, I think there's one exception, but I can't remember now what the exception is. If you use any kind of stablecoin, then basically you are at risk that this stablecoin issuer is freezing your account or that they are blacklisting you, meaning that you cannot send any assets anymore. This can happen. So what are the assets that you can use? You can store it safely in Ethereum, you can store it safely in Bitcoin, and there is not many other assets where you can actually save it secure so nobody can block your account. You can also not use USDT or Pax Gold or any of these other assets. Oops. But you need to know this, right? Because otherwise you don't realize that also even if you use a hardware wallet where, yes, nobody can control sending and receiving assets to this wallet, but if the issuer controls actually if the funds can move or not, the hardware wallet doesn't help you. So these two things you need to combine and these two things you need to know. What is the right amount? People ask me, from what amount on should I use a hardware wallet? Should I use it from $1,000? Should I use it from $10,000? I can't answer this because this depends on you. If $1,000 is a lot of money for you, then yes, please use a hardware wallet. The question is, I don't know what a hardware wallet costs at the moment, around $50 to $100, I guess, depending on what brand you buy. Let's say a good one, $100. The question is if you should spend 10% on your hardware wallet, right? But really, it depends on you. Strange noises. Depends on you. You can also combine a hardware wallet with a software wallet, right? You could combine your Exodus or your Phantom wallet with a ledger, for example, and then you have the interface of the software wallet, so interface of Phantom if you like that, but you need to confirm on your ledger. In this way, hackers are not able to send you some kind of link, you click on it and your wallet gets drained because you need to confirm it on the device. This is actually a very good way to handle assets. So transfer away your asset from exchanges as soon as possible, but don't be in a hurry. Prepare it. If you have never used self-custody, if you've never used the hardware wallet, if you've never used the software wallet, please test it out. Take your time, test it out, send some transactions, dig into the system. So it's very important for you to understand that these wallets are just the access to your assets that are actually on the blockchain. So you need to understand how you can recover this asset or this wallet if you lose it, meaning you have seed phrases. You need to know what is a seed phrase. How can I recover the wallet if I don't have access anymore, if I lose my computer? Where did I store these seed phrases? Did I store it on paper? Not a good idea, as you probably know, because when there's a fire, your paper will be gone. Or a flood, then also you can't read your seed phrases anymore. So you need to store your seed phrases in a secure way. So you can always restore a device, any device. So depending on what kind of setup you're using, depending on what kind of backup you're using, but if you use this 12 or 24 standard BIP words, all the wallets are actually supporting this. If you're using a system like Shamir Backup, you cannot use every wallet. You can just use Trezor and one or two other wallets to restore this. So you need to know, no matter what happens to your device, if you have these 12 words, you can restore your wallet. Very important. What I wanted to say with all that is don't panic and now fast, send it away from your exchange and make the mistake that you are sending it to the wrong address or you can't access it at all anymore because you can't find your seed anymore. I guess more crypto is lost in the way that people cannot access the wallet anymore and not from hacks or other government blocks or something like that. So you need to be careful about that. So do that. What else can we discuss? If you're still not in any assets, if you're still not invested in anything, I'm not sure what you're waiting for, you should get into the market. Yes, it's possible that before October we will still get a little dip. But what date we have now, I don't know. It's around 20th or something of September, right? So maybe there would be 1 week time for a dip. And everybody was actually telling us that in September there will be a big dip. But maybe it's coming, yeah. But where was it till now? And if you, for example, have not been invested in September in some of the assets like Pump or Hype or some of the more interesting assets at the moment, you actually lost a lot of money. So you need to make sure to, if you want to, if you're still bullish, you need to make sure to get into the market slowly because, yeah, you're waiting for one more dip. If this dip never comes, what are you gonna do then? If you need a plan. So you could say to yourself, okay, I'm waiting for the dip. This is totally fine. So you could set a limit order and you could get into the market with a limit order, right? And if the limit order triggers, you are in the trade. But then you also need some kind of different strategy if your plan is to get into the market and profit from the October rise. Usually, almost all the time, October is the best month in crypto, especially in the last halving. So it's now the last quarter basically of the cycle, or maybe the second last quarter of the cycle, right? The strategy that you could use, so if you're in with the limit order, that's fine, but if not, you could trade the breakout, right? If you see that the price is going up, usually if it's shooting up, it's coming back to test out the breakout. So if you see that, then get out at the retest of the breakout. So this is how you avoid to, it's not a nice feeling, right? To sit on the sidelines and you're not in the market, but you don't really want to get into the market anymore because you're saying to yourself, I am too late. It's also true that if assets are running, if the narrative is correct, as we have discussed in some of the other videos, if you see now that Pump.fun is setting up all this streaming platform stuff and people are earning hundreds of thousands of dollars per week streaming, and there is now some kind of narrative, right? And this will probably continue. The only thing that worries me that I discovered like some days ago is there is some kind of legal case going on against Pump.fun. So I'm not sure now the SEC is so friendly, and I don't think that they will go after them. It's possible that they go after them, but I don't think they will go after them in the middle of the bull run. So maybe they go after them the beginning of next year. Maybe I'm wrong. This is the only risk I'm seeing for Pump.fun. A lot of people say, yeah, this is one risk, and then there's another one. The other one is that they are really doing a bad job in monitoring the live streams. They had to shut down the live streams once already. And if it happens that somebody is streaming something illegal or whatever, then there would be the risk that some government entity is forcing them or taking them down, right? This could also happen. So there are two risks to it. So you have to balance these risks for yourself, but you should know it. I watched some interviews with the founder and co-founder of Pump, so I discovered some new information. And also what was very interesting to me is that a lot of people saying now the biggest crypto streamers are already on Pump, meaning George is on Pump and Alex Becker is on Pump and Crypto Banter is on Pump. But then in the interview, the co-founder actually said that they are not really interested or not focusing on crypto content. Their goal is to be the new best streaming platform. And this could actually work out if you ask me, because they managed to kick out the middleman. So on YouTube, on any other platform, you have to get to a certain amount of followers or subscribers. On YouTube, it's 1,000, and you need to, have certain amount of watch hours, and then they allow you to earn some money, but the money is very, very small, like for regular people, right? So on Pump.fun, somebody can start, and if he's lucky, he can earn thousands and thousands of dollars with his first live stream. And this is really great. And another thing that is great is that he's getting paid directly. There's no middleman. There's nobody cutting away. So basically the user is giving the money directly to the influencer, to the producer. So this is really great. And they are receiving creator awards, and they get money by other people buying the token, having a high market cap. What I also discovered yesterday is that the rankings are actually related to the market cap. So if you search for something, or if you don't search anything, if you just go to the live stream, you will see that in most cases, the main metric of ranking pump live streams is the market cap. So the people who made millions or have millions of market cap already that exist are ranking very high. And then it goes down, right? It goes down to 100,000, and most of the people have around 7K market cap. And then it's getting very crowded. So the more market cap you have, the easier it also is that other people can discover these Pump.fun influencers. So what they said, they're not really focusing on crypto influencers. So it can grow and grow and grow. I think it's very attractive. I'm not sure if they're able to keep up paying out all this money. So because they're also putting a lot of money from the internal Pump.fun environment into it to build it up, to get to these influencers and so on, right? So let's see. Well, that's all for today. We just walked down here. You see. So, and yeah, I see you tomorrow. Tomorrow, a shorter walk again. So, I see you. Bye bye. Take